Bug Pokemon contain both a lot of beloved and unpopular Pokemon. Well, I think the same can be said about every type. There's a lot of great and over-the-top bug type designs, and there's also a lot of bug types that are seen as boring. There's a lot of bug types I like, but since it's possible to make bug Pokemon pretty plain, and I think the type is pretty plain, I've made a lot of bug type Pokemon that aren't very creative. That being said, I still think bug Pokemon can be pretty cool. I actually said the bug type was my least favorite type in my favorite Pokemon of every type video. At this point, that's not completely true. But I did and still do feel like the bug type itself isn't very exciting. I'm not saying this just to dunk on bug types. It's to justify why my Bug Fakemon don't really bind different aspects together to create an interesting concept. I'm someone who likes to make Pokemon that are pretty similar to their animal counterparts. So my bug Pokemon may seem like simple real-life insects in Pokemon's art style. As I've mentioned, I've made two different Pokemon regions that I actually haven't completed. Italy, which really needs a better name, and Zelo. I'm gonna start with Pokemon from the Zelo region since I've only made one bug type evolution line for Zelo so far. I made these Pokemon a long time ago. Well, I made the middle stage a long time ago, but its evolved and pre-evolved forms are new. The first stage of this line is Tickler, the tick Pokemon, a bug and dog type. This small parasite sucks blood from anything it can crawl onto, but their crawling leaves a tickling sensation, alerting their hosts. They have hard defenses that are difficult to break. They tend to avoid direct fights, as they use stealth to sneakily feed on their hosts. Although their defenses keep them safe, they usually run away from fights, as their mandibles aren't that powerful. And when they face a predator, it's better to just run and hide. Tickler evolves into Toughen Bug. I made this Pokemon a very long time ago, and I made it using clay which hardened, which gave me the idea to make this Pokemon a rock type. Toughen Bug has rock armor that encases its body. It's pretty much always motionless. It can try to roll around, but it usually doesn't do much. But this Pokemon doesn't really need to move. Similar to Cocoon Pokemon, it simply preserves energy as it prepares for evolution. Hardly anything in its habitat can threaten it because of how tough its armor is. Toughen Bug evolves into Pescover. It returns to a bug and dog type. While Pescover can suck nectar from flowers, they enjoy blood. Their proboscises can be curled up or rolled out like a needle. Like a vampire, they sneak up on their targets to drain them, but their hosts usually notice them when they are a few seconds into their blood-stealing attacks, so they often receive little blood as they must fly away when their hosts attempt to attack them. Their yellow color helps them hide in tall grass. They're similar to ticklers, as they're not very aggressive and will usually fly away from anything that threatens them. But their larger size means that predators they faced as ticklers no longer pose a threat. Alright, now on to my other region, where there's a good amount of bug types I introduced. I'll start by talking about Pupiquills, which is honestly kind of a boring Pokemon. Pupiquills is a small Pokemon that has spiky fur that can detach and deter enemies. Although Pupiquills isn't very interesting, its evolutions are neat. It evolves into a different Pokemon depending on its gender. If it's a female, it evolves into Velvemiga, which is based on a velvet ant. And if it's a male, it evolves into Velvemigo, which is based on a male velvet ant. It's commonly known that velvet ants aren't ants. They are wasps that are called ants because the females are wingless and crawl around like ants. While the males have wings, they lack a stinger, hence the type difference. Velvemiga is a bug poison type. Its stinger is very flexible and long. Its quills are tipped with poison, and they can shoot their quills in a barrage of toxic fur. Velvemigo is a bug flying type with great agility in the air. This Pokemon's quills are still spiky, but the lack of poison makes this Pokemon a much safer target for predators than Velveeta, although their speed allows them to usually avoid most attacks that come their way. Now there's this single stage Pokemon, Tara Strider, the Tarantula Pokemon. Tara Strider is pretty large compared to other bug types. Its webs are very sticky, like Tara, and those webs are coated in a blackish purplish poison. They construct numerous webs to make a home that protects them. This poison can also produce a pheromone that attracts bug types. This sweet pheromone draws in prey that can be caught in their webs. And this is Tara Strider's arch-enemy, Hawk Tara, which is based on a tarantula hawk wasp. Hawk Tara are over twice the height of a Beedrill. They are solitary hunters, and they prey on Tara Strider, which are very dangerous opponents that will become Hawk Tara's predator if they win the fights that Hawk Tara usually start. Hawk Tara's smooth and hard armor is great at deflecting Tara Strider's powerful fangs. Their long limbs let them strike Hawk Tara as they hover far from their webs. They need to be careful when attacking near a Tara Strider's web, since Tara Striders will grab and drag them into webs. While these enemy Pokemon have the same type combination that resist each other, Tara Strider have an ability that gives them an edge when fighting other poison types. Now, I normally don't talk about stats and abilities when making Pokemon, since for the majority of my time as a Pokemon fan, I didn't play Pokemon games. So I didn't think about how Pokemon would work in a game often. However, I thought of Hawk Tara's ability that I can imagine as an in-game mechanic. It's called Paratoxin. With the ability, Hawk Tara can paralyze other poison types using poison type moves. So moves like Poison Sting that can't poison other poison types have a chance at paralyzing poison types. So I think that's a cool ability that references the paralyzing stings that tarantula hawk wasps have. So those are some of my bug Pokemon I've made. Thanks for watching.